Who's actually going to get the most out of a high-speed duplex scanner, and who can safely skip it? If you're trying to decide whether the Fujitsu FI6240 is the right fit for your home office, a small business, or a larger workflow, you probably have a few doubts lingering. Will it really speed up my daily scanning? Will it handle the paper sizes I use? And is the price justified for someone who isn't scanning a mountain of invoices every day? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the practical side of owning this machine so you can decide if the investment makes sense for your everyday needs. First off, the biggest hesitation most people have is the blazing 60-page per minute claim. In a real office setting, that speed only becomes a noticeable advantage when you're feeding the scanner continuously for half an hour or more. I've seen a freelance graphic designer who needs to digitize large portfolios. For them, that throughput means a batch of 200 pages gets done in just a few minutes, freeing up time to actually work on client projects. Conversely, a solo entrepreneur who only scans a handful of receipts each week will never feel that speed. In those low-volume scenarios, the scanner sits idle most of the day, and the premium price starts to feel less justified. What really matters in day-to-day use is how the scanner integrates into your workflow. The FI6240 is a built-in model, meaning it sits directly on a desk without a bulky external feeder. That design works well in tight office spaces where a separate scanner and computer tower would be a clutter nightmare. When I set it up next to a standing desk, the paper feed aligns nicely with the monitor height, so I can slide a stack of documents in, hit scan, and watch the progress on the screen without constantly looking down. For anyone who already has a fixed workstation and needs a scanner that doesn't dominate the desk, that footprint is a genuine advantage. However, the built-in nature also introduces a hidden trade-off. Because the feeder is part of the same chassis as the scanning engine, the maximum paper capacity is lower than what you'd find on a freestanding, high-capacity unit. The FI6240 holds about 50 sheets in its duplex feeder. If you regularly scan multi-page contracts or large client files, you'll find yourself reloading more often than you'd like. In my own experience, after a batch of 120 pages, the feeder emptied twice, which added a few minutes to the overall job. Still faster than a manual scanner, but a reminder that this isn't a high-volume production machine. Another practical point is paper size handling. The scanner is advertised for standard 8.5-11.69 in A4 sheets, and that's exactly where it shines. When I fed a mixed stack of invoices, receipts, and a few glossy flyers, the sensor correctly detected the different thicknesses and adjusted the scan without any jams. That adaptability is a plus for small businesses that deal with a variety of document types. Yet, it struggles a bit with oversized legal-size papers or heavily stapled bundles. The feeder occasionally skips a sheet or two, requiring a quick manual reset. If your workflow includes a lot of legal-size contracts, you might need a different model with a larger intake tray. Now, let's talk about image quality. The scanner delivers full-color, grayscale, and monochrome output at 120 images per minute, which translates into crisp, clean digital copies. For accountants digitizing tax forms, the monochrome mode provides sharp text that OCR software reads accurately. For designers needing color fidelity for artwork proofs, the full-color scan preserves the original palette without noticeable banding. The only downside I noticed is that the default settings favor speed over maximum resolution. If you need ultra-high resolution scans for archival purposes, you'll have to dive into the software settings and sacrifice some of that rapid throughput. Speaking of software, the FI6240 comes with a bundled scanning suite that lets you push files directly to cloud services, email, or a network folder. In a real-world scenario, a remote sales team can scan a signed contract on the Office scanner, and the file instantly appears in the team's shared Google Drive. That seamless integration can shave off the back-and-forth email chain you'd otherwise endure. The only practical weakness here is the learning curve. The software isn't as intuitive as some newer, cloud-first scanners, so you'll spend a few minutes watching the tutorial videos before you feel comfortable setting up automated workflows. Overall, The value of the Fujitsu FI6240 comes down to three main factors: speed when you have a decent batch to scan, a compact footprint that fits a modest desk, and reliable color and grayscale quality for everyday documents. If you're a small to medium office that processes invoices, receipts, or client paperwork on a regular basis, the time saved can quickly offset the higher upfront cost. On the other hand, if you're a casual home user who only needs to scan a few pages a month, a cheaper single-pass scanner or even a smartphone app will likely meet your needs without the extra expense. The rating of 4.3 out of 5 stars from a handful of